What's poppin', peeps? Welcome back to the Peep Lounge, where today our guest, one hell of a vocalist, personally one of my favorite vocalists in the community, a participant. If you guys know those charity concerts that I put on a little bit earlier on this year and last year as well, participated in that, and just an overall, just a great dude. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rhyce Records.
Hey everybody, Dean, thanks for having me, man. I know I've been pestering you to get me on the channel, so super excited to be here. And again, you know, you mentioned the charity concert. That's been one of the great honors of my career to be a part of that for the last couple of years. So thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course, I had to show you love. I wanted to give that opportunity not only to bigger established artists, but other people who might not have either had the performing experience. And wanted, even though I know it was like a virtual live stream, you can't replicate like a live performance like in front of like a crowd of people or whatever, but at least it's something. And then I also just wanted to give the people a platform for maybe discover like, oh, I didn't know who this person was. I really like this person. And that's the one thing that I love that people have taken away. Obviously, outside of it being for charity, obviously that being like the big thing. But the fact that people was like, oh, hey, like I never knew this Rhyce Records guy. Like I'm gonna go check out his music. I really like this song that he performed. Yeah, XYZ. So I really like the fact that I came up with something that is beneficial for almost literally every party involved. And again, I appreciate you being willing to be a part of those concerts every time that I put them on, and any future concerts or events that I do in the future. And I appreciate you hopping on the Peep Lounge, my dude.
Yes, sir.
Dude, like we said, it was a long time coming. I've been getting peer pressured by Rhyce for a while, to the point where he
subtle, you know.
he literally almost had me like behind the camera, like a gun pointed to the back of my head. Not kidding.
Oh, hey now.
I'm kidding. No, Rhyce is the genuine dude. Fun little story before we get into it. I've mentioned this story multiple times. If you guys have heard me talk about Rhyce, but me and Rhyce have developed some like a weird relationship starting after NPC last year. Because if you guys don't know, obviously NPC last year was in North Carolina, blah blah blah. But at this time was the time where all those flight mishaps were going down. Flights were getting canceled, delayed. There was just a whole bunch of issues. I think it was like a Microsoft thing that it was at the end of the day. Like it was like a faulty update that literally crashed like all the systems or whatnot.
It was crazy, and Delta was particularly bad.
Oh yeah, 100%. And guess what? You'll never guess what I was flying. That's great.
We were both on that same flight.
Yeah. But so technically I was supposed to be out of NPC before Rhyce, and my flights kept getting delayed or canceled, to the point where they were telling me like, oh hey, you're not gonna be able to, like, the next flight out of here is like Wednesday. And I was flying out, for context, I was flying out on a Monday. Yeah. And I found out that me and Rhyce kind of live in the general same area, and that we were kind of flying like in the same, we were like in the same terminal or whatever. So I was very stressed out. I haven't been through anything like that before. And I was just like a nervous wreck. And then literally Rhyce was just as cool as a cucumber, just keeping me company, helping me any way that he could. And I don't know if I would have been able to successfully have made it out of there without Rhyce Records. So shout out Rhyce Records for saving for saving me from my perilous demise. I probably wouldn't have been that bad, but
yeah, I'm sure you would have been fine. Put it up in a hotel, whatever. But no, I was happy to do it. And again, I think it's easy to talk with you. You make it easy to sort of chat and engage, and
I appreciate that.
And so it was not like a burden on me. It was kind of like, well, I mean, I'm here anyways, you know. And so we actually ended up getting you, I think, on the plane. Yeah. That I was on. So yeah, we shared a plane ride as well.
Yep. So we eventually got onto the plane that Rhyce was on, and we went to the same destination. And once we got, because we both I had a connecting flight
through Minneapolis. Yeah,
through Minneapolis. But he was getting off there So we kind of like separated. Luckily, once I got to Minneapolis, I had no issues. Everything was smooth sailing. I was able to get on all my flights perfectly. But just that first flight was just hectic. So again, make sure everybody say thank you, Rhyce, in the comments if you guys are just as a way of saying thank you for getting me out of North Carolina. I probably could have gotten out, but it was the reassurance and somebody there to help relieve that tension, that stress that I was going through.
Yeah. Shared my goldfish.
Of course.
That was pretty much it.
No, it was just good to talk to you too, because I think we actually spent a lot of the time in the airport together. I think we arrived to the airport together, and then we went to go get like lunch. I was gonna say we grabbed lunch. We talked a little bit. We got some burgers, and then obviously we sat in the terminal for like 15 plus. No, I'm kidding. It probably wasn't that long, but we sat in the terminal so we spent a lot of time chatting and just BSing and chatting about random stuff. And he was telling me to get him on the Peep Lounge, or else he was going to hold my family hostage. But no, it was just
untrue.
It was just a nice conversation. Like it's been, I genuinely just enjoyed the company and enjoyed the conversation and just spending time with you in a place that was just like, it wasn't necessarily for content. We were just chilling and vibing and hanging out. Yeah. So it was nice being able to get to chat with you. So I appreciate it, Chief. But
likewise, brother.
Rhyce, normally, I guess before, I don't really tell stories right off the rip, but a lot of the times I have people, the people that I have on, tell the people at home how you kind of got started in the music, in the Nerdcore community. How did you stumble across this community? I kind of watched your video on X phases, so I kind of have a brief rundown for the people. But for the people at home who might not be aware, please inform them for how you stumbled across this wonderful community.
Yeah, for sure. And I can start with kind of part one of the question, which is how did I get into music in the first place?
Yeah.
So I grew up in a house of theater nerds 101. I mean, my parents were both professional theater actors. And so, they were in bands, they were in music. We sang around the house, we danced around the house. A lot of what I did was choral / theatrical music, right? By nature.
Yep.
But I danced to Ricky Martin just like anybody else, and I loved, all sorts of music.
Of course.
And so what that really led to, and you hear it in some of my earlier songs, like if you go all the way back, and I've still got stuff out there on YouTube, it sounds very theatrical. Like my All Might song, and honestly, one of my bigger songs, the All for One song, is basically like I'm doing a theater bit about that character. And so I did, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to do more, let's call it mainstream music styles, pop, rock, etc.
Yeah.
And so that's where I've kind of steered towards now. But going all the way back, so how I found the Nerdcore community was really through Divide Music. And that was the first person who I'd heard do something like that. And I don't know, it just came up on my For You page on YouTube. This is kind of the classic story, right? And you're like, oh, somebody's making a song about an anime. And it was one of his Asta songs for gosh, now the show is eluding me. Why can't I think of it?
Black Clover.
Black Clover. Thank you so much. I'm going to get razzed in the comments for that. Watch out. I haven't seen as much of that show as I should, but yeah, so it was that song, and that just like really lit a fire under me to be like, okay, so people are making music online. I didn't really have a concept of that even. And then I was like, this has got to be a band, right? And Divide's talked about how people assume he's a band. And so I looked it up and I was like, no, this is the same guy. It's just like him doing all of his instrumental, all of him doing like the recording. I was like, that's what I want to do. Now, little did I know, I can't do all those things. And so... So that was one of those realizations, but I love to sing. I love to write, and, I produce a little bit here and there. And so that was kind of my first introduction, but I listened to Divide that whole summer before I even started to make music. And so shout out Divide.
Yeah. Shout out to Divide, tremendous artist, and I love kind of hearing like about like what art, because normally what I find is that there's always like a certain artist that people like. They figure out about this artist, but then after that they don't realize, oh shoot, there's more to this than just there's this one person making like song. It turns out that there's this whole like community of people making songs. Like for me, it was Rustage back in early like 2020, when actually I can pinpoint it to whenever his original Kakashi rap came out, his Copy.
Oh, Copy, yeah.
Yep. Whenever that came out, because like on the bottom of like the Spotify playlist, it'll give you like songs recommended, like based off the song. I was listening to a lot of like I had a lot of people who were like people who were YouTube rap or whatever, YouTube musicians or whatever. So obviously Rustage popped up randomly. I was just going through it. I was looking for new music. I was like, okay, this is kind of dope or whatever. I mess with this. And so I listened to that. I listened to more of Rustage, but then the Shonen Jump Cypher came out.
That was one of his biggest ciphers at the time.
And so that opened my eyes to like, oh shoot, like there's a bunch of people who make music inspired by all these nerdy topics, anime, games, whatever the case may be. And then from there, it was just like the waterfall to the trickle effect, where it's just like, okay, I found out about DPS and Divide and Fable now, and then from there I figured out about Game Boy and Schwabity and all that. So it was like the trickle effect. And I never really processed that there was like this whole like subgenre of just people making nerdy music. And it made me realize that I've kind of been listening to this kind of stuff like growing up randomly. Like I was listening to like old Nerd Out stuff, and there was like Black Ops 3 ciphers. And I thought they were just like, oh, cool, one-off projects or whatever. But no, there's been this whole community of these people making music. And it's just crazy to think too, because I know a lot of people have this stigma, just like, oh, like you guys just make music about nerdy stuff, whatever. It can't be taken seriously. But no, a lot of these, like you and like people like Fable or a DPS or a Divide, like you mentioned, like they all make like stuff that you could easily hear being played on certain radio stations, like rap radios or rock radios or pop radios.
Times better. That's what I'm saying. And you're like, what is going on? Like they have whole studios behind them, and like these guys on their own have just like really developed a craft that is wholly impressive. And this is what I do want to mention, right? Similar to you, got the Spiderwebs, found the Fables, Divides, Game Boys, but also then through these other communities, finding those other artists who are maybe similar to you or like are rock stars, like Callie May. Shout out Callie May.
Yes,
met him through the concerts. And but if you're thinking about getting into this space, comparison is the thief of joy. And I think that's such a critical thing that in your sphere that you do a really nice job of, is sharing like, hey, the mix might not be the perfect thing, or the master might not be the perfect thing, but if you love that song and if you love that thing that comes through, you can tell somebody put a lot of love into it. And so I don't want to discourage anybody as they listen to these bigger artists. Like I kind of treat Fable, Divide, DPS, that group, Game Boy, all those guys as like radio quality.
Like they're like an upper echelon compared to
not upper nerdcore. I know we get into shit about that, but but certainly they have honed their craft to a point where you cannot compare yourself to those people, because they, one, will outwork you because this is their full-time job. And two, because they've developed it over years and years and years. And so you're just getting started. Just remember, have fun. That's what this is about. Ultimately.
Of course. And I really, really like that thought process, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in today's day and age, and this doesn't even apply to just like artists or creators within Nerdcore. This kind of just applies to just in general, like the creation space as an entirety, where we live in that era of just like instant gratification. Like they want to start something and they want to see results right away. They want to be like at the very tippy top when they're just starting out. And at the end of the day, as harsh as it may seem, I'm not trying to make it sound harsh, it's not like, unless you get like a 1 in a million like one in a million, lightning in a bottle, like type of opportunity. It's just not going to happen. You got to pay your dues like everybody else. All these people that you see, like you said, a DPS or Divide or Fable, Game Boy, they've been doing this probably for probably a decade plus, depending on who you are. I know Game Boy's been doing a lot of musicians most of his life. Fable and Divide were in a band together back in high school, so they've been doing this forever. So obviously they have earned that right to be considered at the level that they're at, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're a smaller artist watching this, like that doesn't mean you can't reach that point of where those guys are at. But you just got to understand and realize how much work that you got to put in, and it's not going to come at the snap of a finger, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of people feel like I said, we live in that instant gratification era where people just want that instant, like, I'm going to start streaming, for example, a random like, and if I don't get 10 plus 15 viewers at a time, like my first week, I'm never gonna do. Is like, that's not realistic. So I really like that you pointed that out, because I feel like a lot of people get too deep where they feel like, hey, like they're doing this, but it might not be doing as well as they think it is, and so it kind of demoralizes them a little bit. But in reality, they're still trying to find their footing.
I've been there. It still happens to me, right? As much as I like to be like, don't worry so much. It still hits you, when you make a song, you put it out there, and you're like, ooh, that didn't do well. It's just like with any videos that you do. It's one of those things that the market is the market, and unfortunately, it's not always going to be in your favor. So make sure you did it for you and not for a broad audience, and it's one of those things. I try to do a couple songs for what I think is going to be successful, and then one for me. And so like there's one that upcoming, I know games don't do good on my channel, but Expedition 33 changed my life, so I'm going to write a fucking song about it.
Hell yeah, dude.
I have post-game depression, so I need to put that into a song. And so that's coming out in a couple weeks. But anyways, so
another thing that you mentioned too is that not when you were talking about Fable and DPS and Divide and how they're able to outwork people because it's like their full-time like job or whatever. I want to get into, because obviously doing this full-time isn't necessarily the case for everybody in this community. Like not everybody has the luxury to be able to do this. I don't do this full time. I know you don't do. I know you don't do this full time as much as we would like to. Obviously, that would be the absolute dream. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. So I want to ask you, obviously we were talking before we officially were recording, like you're literally doing this in between things at your job. And it's like you got your own job, you got your own responsibilities. How do you find a way to balance everything to make not only one where you feel like you're getting burnt out of just everything just going on, but to be able to like have a healthy balance where, okay, I'm dedicating enough time to my music, I'm dedicating enough time to my real life personal stuff, and it's like a healthy balance, and make sure that neither one is necessarily lacking over the other.
Yeah, no, I think it's the right question, and I don't have anything like super revolutionary to share. I think one of the key things is time management. So you're going to hear that a lot, but keeping a calendar, sticking to it, making sure that when you've made a commitment, that you've written it down, you've allocated the appropriate amount of time. That's the toughest part, right? Is like, can I mix a song in a half an hour? No. Can I mix some of the vocals in a half an hour? Yes. So let me get in there, do the thing I can do, feel good that I've made some progress on it, and then switch back, and I think setting up your boundaries is incredibly important too, to be like, I'm going to dedicate X amount of time for my partnership, with my relationships, with my children, with my family. And I don't have children right now, but if I did, that's going to bleed more into this time, right?
Of course.
Because that's important. That's a high priority for me. However, that doesn't mean I can't then still dedicate time to these things. And it just becomes about finding what works, finding the time zone that you're the most creative. So like I'm a morning person. Some people aren't morning people. But, like if I try to be creative at like 9 at night, which sucks because that's usually when you've got free time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm dead. My whole day is gone, like shot. But if I like just this morning, 7 a.m., I got up and I had some time after breakfast. You know, my wife went to work, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish the master of this song I've got upcoming, and then I'm gonna upload it.
Of course.
And I was able to kind of get that done in 45 minutes instead of the 2 hours that it might take me to just like get off my ass later today. So just finding those pockets of time that you can be the best self in each space, and then dedicate to it. And then make sure, you know, weekends you spend a little bit more time on the things that you want to do to relax and to engage. But ultimately that's how I balance it, is calendarize, optimize, and then you know, spend the time.
And that's the one thing where I feel like, because we had a brief conversation about how like I do my best to like automate everything, so it makes my life easier, so I don't have to put as much time into it later. Like this Peep Lounges, I try to do as much in real time, so then I don't have to do much editing later. I'm gonna have to do some like audio balancing to make sure everything blah blah blah, but that doesn't take very long for me. But the one thing that I feel like I always, and I think it's just a bad habit of mine, is where like if I do something, whether I'm doing like I've been doing a lot of short form content lately, I've been trying to do more with the reactions. I've been just trying to do more. I am the type of person where if I need to do something to completion right away, rather than like you said, like you have like a 45-minute window. So you're gonna work on this a little bit, and then you're gonna do whatever you got to do, and then you're gonna come back at a later time whenever you got time, whatever, and you do like things like in like increments almost.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have the bad habit. I gotta do everything. So like if I'm editing something, I'm not like I have to do that whole edit in one sitting. And I can't do things in increments, and I end up suffering because of it, because it's just like, oh, I might lose focus, or because I have really bad ADHD, or maybe something's going, like I'm terrible at like the whole balancing things.
Sure.
And so that's why I like asking people about like how they balance things, just because I want to be able to like take some tips and tricks on how to properly balance between personal and work and what their creations and stuff like that. Because I am just naturally terrible. I got no social life, because I literally come home from my actual like 9 to 5 job, and then I come here, do like edit, whatever, record until I go to bed, sleep, and then repeat.
Do it again.
So it's just like I still need to try to find that equal balance of everything, and it's always just been difficult for me. So I appreciate you opening up and showing us your methods. Like you said, it wasn't nothing revolutionary, but it works for you, and that's all that matters.
And I think one of the things, not that since you've asked for advice, I think what you could benefit from, and I'm sure you do sort of more naturally, is a term called batching, right? Which is like, I'm going to spend 4 hours completing these things.
Oh, yeah.
So you might be able to basically be like, look, I'm going to completion, edit the videos that I've recorded, and then to completion, record several videos. So like, basically creating pockets where you can complete the task that you've set out multiple times, and then that sets you up for your next batch, right? And so I'm sure you do that already, but that was just something that came to mind.
Yeah, of course. And like you kind of said it, like that's pretty much exactly how I do it. So like if I have some time, maybe I just finished ate dinner or whatever, I got some free time, maybe I got like, I got 2 hours or whatever, I'll do like, okay, I want to record these for reactions. I'll record everything within these 2 hours, and I won't worry about like editing anything at that time. Whatever, I'll just focus on getting everything recorded for short form, for reactions. Just have everything ready, and then come back, and then now this time I'm gonna use that time to edit everything, schedule everything, post everything, whatever it might be. I definitely do that, definitely in batches of like giant windows and pockets that I find throughout the day. And that's one thing I've always worked, but it's just like I feel like I don't do good enough because, like I said, I don't have a social life or anything like that. So it's very hard.
It's so funny you say that, and like, because I feel like you're so sociable. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you thrive in those kind of environments.
You see, most people think that, but because like I tell people, and like if you know a lot, like most people at home might not be aware of this, but like the Bucks, like the Suyo, Red Rob, Eclipse, Shinky, all those guys that I hang out with on a frequent basis. They can attest to this because they hang out with me semi-frequently, whether it's in Discord or like when we met up at NPC last year. I have many different faces. In reality, it might not show it, but I am very much introverted. I am way more introverted than it seems like I am on the internet. And maybe it's because I don't have that social life. I don't interact with many people. So like I give off those like hermit vibes. But that's just how it is. And then if I'm with people, I'm energetic. I'm sociable. Like you said, like I give off these, like I'm a very sociable guy. I'm always interacting with people. But it's like I definitely got many different faces, and it's like, and I don't want people to think like, oh hey, like he's always so like energetic online or whatever, blah blah blah, but he's completely different in person. Like is he putting on a face? Is he not being like it? That's just how I am. I'm not saying I'm not being like not genuine. Like obviously but it's just
you're an omnivert, which is like you lean more introvert, or you recharge.
Yeah, yes. I need to recharge
that way.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you can't be an extrovert when you need to. Like, absolutely. And I think that's the thing that people forget. Like me, I'm an extrovert all the other way.
Absolutely.
Like, I get energy from people, and so if I'm by myself for too long, I get just drained. And so it's a very different vibe check for sure. But I certainly understand what you're saying, right? It's like that's not Dean. That's just Dean in a different setting. And so that's okay.
And there was times like we keep going back to it. NPC last year, like like I said, I've never been to like quite like a thing like NPC before, like being around like at a convention, being around so many people, and many people interacting with me, etc., etc. So those days, and as much as I was having an absolute blast, don't get it twisted, I was drained at the end of the day. And the Bucks were giving me crap because like I was passing out at like 10 o'clock, and they were just they were just getting back to the hotel. They still had another like 5 to 6 hours in them. But it's just like me personally, like I needed that time to like recharge to be able to properly function. And it's just exactly. And I have a very short social battery, as much as I am a very social person when I'm out, but like it's very short winded. So I need that time to be able to like recharge, whether it's just hopping off, even if I'm in a Discord call, like a busy Discord call, I leave, take 5 to 10 minutes. I maybe go lay down in bed. I stay away from devices. Like I just unwind. I kind of just wind down, or if I need to maybe take a short nap, whatever the case may be, I just need that time to recharge, be able to continue about my day. But another thing, Mr. Rhyce Cooker, Rhyce Records. So obviously, being in the nerdcore community, obviously having all these, you said you like making songs about video games, but they don't necessarily do well. And you say, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you said earlier that you kind of go by the system where you make 2 songs that might be good for whatever's trending or the algorithm, because all hail the algorithm, and then you make you make a song for yourself. And that's I really, really like that you do that. Because I feel like a lot of people, especially in nerdcore, obviously, because like you said, it's very algorithm heavy. People feel like they get locked into these boxes where they make songs not necessarily because they want to make them, but because it's the trendy thing to do and they have to make them. Or
they feel they have to.
They feel that they have to. And even though you like, obviously, there's many artists who have done that, whether it's personal stuff, like they've made like a maybe more like an original project that's not really nerdcore inspired, or it's not about a popular topic. I really, really like that you go about doing that, because it shows that, oh, hey, like, yeah, I'll make these other songs. I'm not saying you don't enjoy them, but that you still make the things because you do enjoy the certain tracks. Like you said, you're making a Claire Obscure 33, which, by the way, I have not played it. I've heard so many good things about it. I need to play it.
You will lose your mind. It's so good.
Is it?
And I would say yes. And I would definitely caution anybody who listens to my song. There are unfortunately some spoilers in the clips I had to use. So don't watch it unless you've played the game.
Oh God.
Which I'm assuming is going to be the people who've watched, or listen to it on Spotify. There's no spoilers in the song.
True.
So there you go. But in terms of the game itself, I mean, it's my GOTY and it's not even close for 2025. And there's nothing on the release horizon that would.
Whoa! I want relax, because I heard Garfield Kart 2 is coming out this year. So
oh shit! No kidding.
No, okay.
I mean,
I was seeing a joke
as much as that guy.
I was seeing jokes on TikTok, because I saw this like random TikTok to be like, oh, now we know why GTA got delayed to 2026, because I realized that the game of the year was dropping this year, and it was like Garfield Kart 2.
Holy shit!
So be on the lookout for that. No, but I've seen like gameplays and stuff like that of Claire Obscure 33. Looks tremendous. And here's the thing: I know it turned. We could probably have a whole separate discussion about this one for another time. I know a lot of people get turned off because like, oh, it's turn based, whatever, yada yada yada. It's like, I can't do turn based games. Which just shows off their age, because that they weren't around when the peak of turn base or anything like that.
You haven't played any Final Fantasy in the last 25, 30 years.
But I just really, really like the fact that you still take the time to make the songs, not necessarily because they'll do well, but because, oh, hey, I still enjoyed this. It might not do well.
Yeah,
but I'm still
going to stick it, even if it's something that I think is going to do well. I don't just do a character or a song just because it's like the most popular character.
Yeah.
I'll try to find, like, one of my most successful songs I've ever written was the Kurogiri track.
Yep, I remember that.
Not a lot of people write about Kurogiri. And I was like, he's the most interesting character from the villain side, in my opinion, in that show, because he is this blend, and spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't seen the show, he's this blend of like, he was a hero, and his like that personality tie in, and there's a lot of complexities obviously with where he is now, but just that inner struggle and how it reflects itself on the outside as sort of this wispy shade is like, it's so cool to me. But I try to do my best to capture the essence of it, which is not what I always have done in the past, right? Especially the theatrical ones. They were more like very direct, like references to the show,
and that's, I feel like that was just at the time of nerdcore, because I feel like over time nerdcore has evolved where there was just like direct raps and references about the character from the perspective of the character, to more like just touching on like the themes and what these characters or these shows represent, or put certain maybe plot points or whatever. And that's the one thing I really, really like. For the people who aren't super familiar, there might be fans of the Peep Lounge that aren't super familiar with Rhyce Records. One, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm kidding. But no,
I was like, don't shake me. I would love to have you guys listen to my music.
Of course,
check it out.
Of course. Make sure you guys go check them out. All the links will be in the description. But the one thing that I always like enjoy about your music is that I feel you do a very good job at giving this sense of whatever the song might be about, that sense of relatability. So like the everyday person can listen to it and take something away from that song. You tie like real life, like personable stuff to it. And that's the one thing, like I said, I've always enjoyed about your music, is that you do a very good job where it's just like, oh, hey, yes, if you like, this song is about this character or this show, right? But if you show this to somebody who might not be familiar with it, or maybe not rock with nerdcore as much, they can still listen to it, not knowing the subject matter or at all. Excuse me. And they can still take something from it as well. And it kind of has that, just almost like that generalization to it. And that's one of the things where I feel like you succeed, is you just do a very good job at doing that. And that's what I feel like I enjoy the most about your music, is it's for everybody. Literally, you can show it to anybody.
Well, I appreciate that. I work hard to make sure that that's the case, and I'm really, really glad it comes through. Thank you, man.
Of course.
Highest of compliments.
Of course. But as up next, I got Mr. Rhyce. As always, I take to Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a couple of these. I
take to Twitter and I gather questions from the Peep community, the Dean community, for whatever guests I have on at that time. And I took to Twitter and said I was getting the talented Rhyce records on the Peep Lounge. Leave any questions or topics that they want to see talked about in the replies, and I got a couple for you.
All right, let's do it.
This first one comes from somebody I know you know very well. Very, very well. Almost I would consider you guys like two very, 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 very extremely close individuals. One, Austin Simon.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Love the guy.
Oh, this comes from Austin Simon, another tremendous artist. Peep Lounge. I had a Peep Lounge with him. Make sure you guys go check that out right after you get done with this episode.
Thank you.
But he asks you, what motivates you to stay consistent as an independent artist?
Yeah, I mean, super good question. I think it's something that any of us in the scene, whether you're a music artist, a content creator, etc., is a thing that we really, really struggle with, especially when the money's not there. So I think, again, for me, what I really do to try to stay consistent is, one, think of it as completing steps in a process, not about like the end result. So said a different way, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
And so for me, the reason I stay so consistent is, one, I have a lot of ideas and like they hit me at weird times, right? And so it's like I need to get something out, and it's in me and I need to get it out into the world. And this happens to be the way I get to write about it. You hear like comedians talk about how things that are horrible that happen to them in their day-to-day lives, they're going to write about in comedy because that's their outlet for, release for that thing.
Okay.
And they, sometimes are like, if I wasn't a comedian and I didn't have an outlet for this would really suck. But, this bad haircut day turns into an episode of a show that I might write someday. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's really, for me, the way I stay consistent is I set a schedule. So I make sure that I'm pretty consistent, either bi-weekly or, every 3 weeks. And so I hold myself to a 2 to 3 week schedule. I used to do weekly. Obnoxious.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys have my condolences, because those people who drop weekly, I don't know how they fuck. I don't know.
Well, you want to talk about balance. There was no balance at the time, because I was writing the music, I was singing the songs, I was doing the video. And yes, I know Game Boy, Divide, Fable, a lot of those folks did that for many, many years. And I mean, my heart goes out to them, because that takes dedication, commitment. Like, you gotta, this is it.
You gotta be a different type of animal for that.
Oh yeah, you're a beast, and then you start to build a team. And so for me, what's really helped me stay consistent is I get to do the idea, I get to do the song, and then I hire out usually the video, or I hire out the thumbnail. Yeah. And I try to really use my, relative opportunity position that I'm in with work to say a lot of my time is going to work. And so I'm going to just take that money that I'm getting paid for work, and I'm going to translate that into how can I build the business side of things. And so I also think about music as a business. Like that's something that I don't think enough artists who want to do this full time
Yes,
do.
I agree.
And they're like, well, I'm going to make the best song and it's going to go out and it's going to be a hit. Nope, it's not. There's so many more talented people than me who write way better songs than me, who don't even have remotely the number of listeners that I do. And I am hugely grateful and thankful for this community because people listen, people show up, and like that is so cool. But it's not always because the song is the most amazing. It's because you're a part of a fun community who loves this work, who loves the songs that you're putting out, and be grateful for what you get.
Yes.
And so I think that's just that recognition, and like I show up for the fans.
Yeah.
Ultimately is because I know that somebody wants more music from me. Awesome. I mean, I would do it just for me, but the fact that I get the chance to put that out there is even cooler. So
hell yeah,
dude. I think about that.
And I really like that answer, because that just goes to show there's like through everything, whether like you said you do this for like a part-time thing, or this is like your full-time, whether you're a content creator or you're a musician, whatever the case may be, that just goes to show like he still tries to look at the fun aspects that go into it, because obviously there's probably some aspects to what Rhyce does as a musician, or what I do as just a general content creator who edits, reacts, and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. There's probably some aspects that maybe aren't so fun, or maybe just like, oh, like, do I have to do this again? But you focus on the aspects that you just love and enjoy, and even for those aspects that you don't enjoy, that journey of being able to like, okay, when I complete this, I'll be able to like share this with the world, and see that love and appreciation, and people recognizing, oh, this is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen, and just that and just having that almost validation that hard work that you're putting into your craft is paying off. Even like, I'm the type of person that's just like, obviously I'm not this massive creator in the grand scheme of things. I never claimed to be, but I'm the type of person where it's just like, if I do something and even if it gets 1,000 views and only I hear somebody talk about it, one person talk about it, I'm happy. As long as I can affect that one person, and he like that's enough for me. Because I know, hey, what I do matters to somebody out there. Even if it's not the general public, just knowing that one person I affected it for the positive is enough, that it keeps me going, and the things that I enjoy, and why I continue to do all these cool events that I do, and reactions and short form. Like that's the reason why I do what I do personally, is just being able to like say, oh, hey, I did something that one person resonated with, because at the end of the day, man, we're entertainers.
Yeah. And like, I think about that, especially social media has us all fucked up.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine if 10 people in your personal life, in your bubble, liked something and told you, I like this thing you did? How cool. I mean, you'd be over the moon.
Absolutely,
like,
bro.
But you're like, if you get 10 likes on a post, that you put some time and effort into, and we're like, oh, it didn't do well. Are you kidding me? It did great. Like 10 people like
there's 10 people out there who like this. And that was one of the surreal things, because again, we keep bringing it up. I'm sorry, but NPC last year,
it was great. It was a good time. So like, please bring it back up.
But NPC last year, like, I was just roaming around as like a general audience member. Like, I wasn't like a featured person or anything like that. But there was still people like, yo, are you Dean? Do you do the do you do the reactions? Oh, I saw your like whatever, blah blah blah. Like, I saw you do this. I see your Peep Lounges or whatever. And just those coming out of the blue when I wasn't expecting it. I just came here because I'm just a fan of the community. And just knowing that even like there was just only a handful of people that just like, oh, can you sign this shirt, or can we get a photo or something like that? Those legitimately light up my day. So if you,
isn't that a surreal experience?
It's so surreal. It's so surreal. And I hope anybody going forward, Obviously, like I said, I know I'm not a big artist or a big artist. I don't make music. Hold on. I know I'm not a big creator.
Well, okay, now hold up, because you have rapped on a few things.
Hey,
I've heard it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm not a big creator in the slightest. But
Yeah,
I just love seeing people like, oh hey, like I love this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you see me ever in public in the real world, say what's up, dude. I love chatting with you guys. I just love interacting with you guys, because it's like I said, why I do what I do at the end of the day. So, and I'm assuming Rhyce is the same way, man. If you see Rhyce, absolutely bombard him at like the airport for pictures when he's right on the verge of missing his flight. And I'm kidding, don't actually do it.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I will miss that flight for fans. I will miss that flight.
W.
So yes, please say hello, and I love that, Dean, particularly because, like, again, it's one of those things that you don't know when you won't have it anymore, and you don't know when something will change or whatever. So really be grateful and so enjoy it, within reason. Obviously there's fan interactions that can be weird, and
of course, yeah,
unfortunate.
there's always like a dark side to everything, yeah.
But 99% of people just like, giving them a nod, saying hello, taking a picture, like,
yeah, I was gonna say, even like a simple hello makes people's days. Like, you don't even have to go above and beyond. Like, the amount of times people were just happy saying "what's up" to me,
right?
What was just like that was enough for. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure
like,
got that a lot.
I got that literally a lot, and the smile on their faces after they said that, it's just like, "Yo, what's up?" Blah blah blah, yada yada yada. That was enough for them. And at the end of the day, man, I'm forever grateful. And it's one of those things. Like I said, I'm not like. I will forever be grateful, like whether I stay the size that I'm at analytically and statistically, or I do blow up one day to bigger and better things. I will always be grateful for those interactions and just that feeling of just knowing that there's people out there who are affected in a positive light by what I do. So if you're watching this at home, whether you're a fan of Rhyce Records, whether you're a fan of my content, whatever the case may be, just know we love and appreciate you guys all dearly.
We love you so much.
Absolutely. But the next question for you, Mr. Rhyce, and this is the last question, because this person left two questions, but we kind of already touched on the second one already. But this person has another question. This comes from British Juggernaut on Twitter.
Hey,
or
British
X.
Juggernaut, thank you for interacting with so much of my stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah, and I've been seeing British Juggernaut pop up a lot recently. I'm personally on my timeline. I'm constantly showing love on all my content, and like when I do top fives, Nerdcore songs or whatever, like they'll give their top five, and I'm just like, I love it, man. You got your 5 songs that you resonate with. I love seeing that. So shout out to you, man. I love seeing it. But they asks, who would you most like to collaborate with? Someone maybe you've never worked with before, or someone that you maybe want to work with again? Shoot your shot, Rhyce. Who out there? who out there do you want to have Rhyce Records X this person?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're talking like the 50-50 shot, shoot, I don't know, but I think not a lot of people know this. I did have the opportunity to work with Divide at one point. It was not as a feature. It was in the like chorus choir shouts of the Jiraiya song that he did.
I know that song. One of my favorites.
So good. And that was like a dream come true. And I got to do like the background vocal for like a random part, because I think his voice was like, he was struggling with his voice that week. Yeah. Something wild, right? But I would absolutely love to feature on a Divide track, or have Divide feature on my channel, because I know a lot of what Divide has on his is just to mainly showcase, everything that he's doing. And,
of course, yeah.
And I totally get that. And so I would love to work with Divide
in any way, shape, or form.
In any way.
Can you imagine yourself on a Divide production? That would be insane.
Oh man,
that would be
insane. In a Divide mix and master. I mean, like.
Oh yeah, you're gonna sound crispy if that's the case.
Oh yeah, I mean, if anybody's gonna do it right, it's gonna be a Divide or like a Fable. Or
of course, of course.
So, huge fan of those guys, but ultimately, yeah, my dream feature, my dream like be on a song with is Divide.
Hell yeah! So you guys heard it. everybody just absolutely terrorize Divide Music on social media.
Just,
don't do
it. No. But do clip this, and if you want to like tag it.
Yeah. I was gonna say clip it. No, clip it, man. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
Yeah. Well, this will end up somewhere. I'm sure.
This will probably end up somewhere. If not, I'll probably just clip it myself and post. But no, Divide is very, very valid. Divide has always been kind of like one of the people in the community that's always been consistent in my book. Where and I have very like I have the music taste where it's just like, okay, I might rock with this person for a little bit, but then I might get burnt out. Maybe I don't rock. Maybe I go through like a down period where it's just, they don't really hit for me any and then maybe like my tastes are always, and what I'm into in that period of time is always changing. So my music taste is always changing. But for some reason, there's just something about Divide. It don't matter. It don't matter like what, because he's got some for everything too. If you need something that'll make you cry, he got you. If you need something that is absolutely just gonna make you just want to punch a piece of drywall, he's got you. Like he's got something for everything. And he's always been one of the few consistent people that's just like, regardless of where my music tastes are at or what I'm into, like Divide Music always slaps. He always has a song for whatever I need. So shout out to Divide. And again, if Divide somehow in out there in the universe is watching this,
anytime Divide, anytime of day, I'm here for it. Whether it's more backing vocals too, I'm always down.
Of course, man.
It doesn't always need to be McGuire. No,
somebody clip that out of context.
I will give crap, not even for Divide, just in general. Like, if you guys need backing vocals, I'm here. Hang out, like me and Key, we're over here just like
shout out Key, W Key,
vocal gigs. W Key, always W Key.
But
appreciate it.
because no, I definitely feel it, because I feel like I hear McGuire literally at the background of every Nerdcore track.
And I'm just as guilty. McGuire's great. He's
absolutely
a great backing vocal, main vocalist, whatever you got to do. He's great.
Absolutely. So shout out to Divide. Absolutely, like I said, absolutely tremendous artist. But Mr. Rhyce, that's kind of everything. I know we have certain time constraints that we got. So I want to make sure we have enough time for an outro and stuff like that. For the people at home, like I said, for that might not be familiar with you, and this is like their introduction to you, tell the people at home where to find you, anything that you got working that you wanna share with us, and maybe future projects, future works, whatever. The floor is yours. Tell the people at home where to find you, what you're about, what you got working on, all that jazz. The stage is yours.
Awesome. Well, hi everybody. As you've heard probably at this point a bunch of times, my stage name is Rhyce Records. It's RHYCE, which is actually an old Welsh spelling, sometimes pronounced Rhys. But unfortunately, Rhys-let is also in the community, and so no, but it is pronounced Rhyce as far as mine's concerned. So Rhyce Records, and then records just like it sounds, right? You can find me on Spotify, Apple, all the usual places, and YouTube if you're ever interested in the music videos. And then working on a couple tracks coming up. I've got a song for Solo Leveling that comes out this week on Friday, called Break the Cycle. Very excited about that one. And then in a couple weeks from now, you heard me talk about it earlier, but Expedition 33 changed my life, so had to write a song for it, and it is kind of depressing, the song, but it's good. I promise.
W depression.
Well, no, yeah.
Okay. My bad. Let me
post game depression. I'll take a W on, because it means the game was really powerful. For you.
Absolutely.
I know what you meant.
I was gonna say that. No, I worded that in a way where it made it seem like I was probably like
that'd be it. Dean will be canceled by the end of the week. You can edit that in post, right?
Of course.
But I appreciate the forum. I appreciate Dean having me on the Peep Lounge again. I have been pestering him, and tastefully, I think, but I've been pestering him. And no, I'm so proud of this community, being a part of this community. I'm proud of you, Dean, and everything that you do and you show up with. And I think it's so cool to be a part of this. So I am forever grateful. And check me out, Rhyce Records. thanks for having me, and let me know what you think.
Of course. Like you said, Rhyce Records on almost literally every platform. Hell, he probably even has a MySpace. Rhyce Records. He's old enough. He probably has a MySpace.
I did have a MySpace, dude. So good. Shout out
MySpace. But go check him out, because I can't speak high enough about Rhyce Records. Like I said, not only as a musician, but just as an overall dude. He just always has like a certain infectious energy, and I consider him like a big bright light in the community. So I highly recommend, if you guys haven't tapped in with Rhyce Records, get tapped in. All of the important links will be down in the description. Make sure you guys go show him the love that he deserves. And while we're here, while you're still watching here, Mr. Rhyce Records, I've gotten recently into the trend of at the end of these, I have the guest come up with a random word for the people who make it this far to type in the comments to let me know, hey, they made it this far. So come up with any random word that you can think of for the people to type at home.
I think I know where this came from. So my word is going to be schwabados.
Oh.
Because he used to do that at the end of every video, and I remember making it to the end of all the reaction videos. So yeah, schwabados. Comment schwabados.
People who are watching the middle of this Peep Lounge, going to the comments and seeing schwabados. Be like, what the fuck?
yeah, what the hell?
Not understanding the context behind it, but okay, everybody, if you make it to this far, made it to the end here, type schwabados in the comments below. I'll know you made it to this point in the podcast or the episode or whatever you want to call these. I still don't know how the proper way to call these. But make sure you guys tap in with Rhyce. Let me know down below who's another artist, content creator, just anybody within Nerdcore that you guys want to see hop on a future Peep Lounge episode, and I'll do the absolute best that I can to make it happen. Again, shout out to Rhyce for being a part of this and taking time out to kind of just chat about himself and kind of give you guys a small rundown of him as an artist, him as a person, and maybe sometime down the line when some time has passed, we do a part 2, kind of get like a little update to see how things have gone since this episode. If the stars align. But yeah, as always, make sure you guys like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you guys stay safe, take care of yourself, tell a loved one that you love them, because at the end of the day, you just never know. And I'll just see you guys in the next episode. Peace.